All right, this is the Village of Peotone Committee of the Whole meeting for April 22nd, 2013. I call this meeting to order. Clerk, please take attendance.
Mr. Reichert?
Here.
Mr. Hupkey?
Here.
Mr. Wicker?
Here.
Mr. Callahan?
Coming.
Mr. Forsythe?
Seated as we speak.
And Mr. Liberatore.
Okay, let the record show that a quorum is present and we may officially conduct business. The first order of business being the approval of the last committee of the whole meeting, which was March 25th, 2013. Trustees, you find the minutes in your packet. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the March 25th committee of the whole meeting as presented, or if you see a reason to correct them, let us know what that would be.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Hupkey to approve the minutes as presented, seconded by trustee Wicker. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Forsythe?
Present.
And Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
And Mr. Reichert?
Yes.
Okay. Minutes are officially adopted and become the official record. This is our monthly committee of the whole meeting, the purpose of which often is to listen to the public. And I will note for the record that at the present time, there are no members of the public in the audience. So that gives us an opportunity, if we so choose, to hold a general discussion on topics of interest to the trustees. So, gentlemen, is there anything you'd like to bring up to discuss?
I'd like to bring up to discuss direct deposit.
Direct deposit.
Donna's gonna glare at you.
Okay.
What are the, do we have any options with that? Has that ever come up for discussion in the past? What are our feelings on that?
It has been discussed in the past. If we're referring to direct deposit for payroll, I think as far as employees go, we've got a kind of a mixed feeling relative to direct deposit. Some people would prefer it, some would not. We can, I don't know that we looked at it in depth for 2 or 3 years. Don, correct me if I say something wrong, but that's my recollection. We looked at it 2 or 3 years ago. We can look into some more and get back with the board on some information if you'd like to do that.
Yeah.
I'd like us to do that.
What's the drawbacks to it? Mainly, speaking to Don on this.
I don't do the payroll, so I wouldn't be able to
I thought you
comment
had
on it.
discussed it before, though.
Yeah,
as having an
We
issue.
talked about direct debit for
Oh,
the water bills.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We've never talked as a group about direct deposit for paychecks, which is what I'm assuming that's talking
Yeah.
about.
I had it for years, I even have it, but it's the only way I can get my retirement benefit. That's a direct deposit. And I always find that it's usually there a day earlier than it would normally be if you considered a regular payday. And the places that I've used for banks and that, basically, if it's there, you got it.
Does it save money in any way?
I don't know that I can answer that. I think that's partly a function of how you do it. I mean, if you still want to issue a paper voucher to people to show that, you know, this is what you have in hand. You know, for instance, my wife works at a hospital, and if she wants to see what her actual paycheck and deductions are, she has to go online and print out a report. You know, so if we're still issuing, you know, a statement or something, then we're probably still doing just about the same thing. But again, we haven't discussed it in 2 or 3 years, at least in depth. So
I think the first discussion is with our employees, see what they think.
Yeah.
And to me, it makes no difference, and you know, there's no skin off anybody's nose sitting around this table. But I'm saying it's up with, and then find out if there's any benefit to it.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Okay.
Oh, you never know when we get paid, right, Donna? Like, I received my check in the packet. Usually it's what, the third or fourth week of the month?
It's the last.
Personally, I just can't see it. Direct deposit, I just can't see it.
Personally, I like that piece of paper in my hand.
That's
But
right.
That's me.
See what they say, you know, see what.
And I know we've got employees who feel both ways.
Yeah.
We've got employees who've asked for 2 or 3 years for direct deposit. So, we'll see what.
It's not necessarily required to be one way or the other, is it?
No.
Okay. So I mean, it's possible to offer it for anyone who may want it?
That may be a function of what the split is,
Okay.
yeah. But you know,
I'm sure you gotta do some research. to
yeah, I
find out.
hesitate to say too
Nobody's
much
got
because it's
answers.
been a while since
Yeah.
we've looked at it, yeah. We will get back with you.
I know that when, years ago, when the school district, that's a long time ago, first went to it, they would give you the little voucher that said what it was, and then finally, I think they did away with it. Because I know where my wife works, they have gone to the same system that you got, you know, basically, you can go online and you can get it and print it out for yourself. But they won't give you something on payday. It's kind of like, most people know when payday is, incidentally. You don't have to remind them.
Yeah, see, mine gets emailed. You get that voucher every week, but it's through email.
Well then.
Tell you what, you're walking in at a very timely time. If you have something to talk to us about,
Yes, I have.
good. The microphone is open.
You what?
The microphone is open.
There's a
The microphone.
microphone back there for you.
Okay. Do you have the
Okay.
pictures you were going to show us?
Yeah,
Okay, we can pass those around.
And your name, sir?
Joe Baker.
Okay.
Joe?
I'll go both ways with it. Joe, would you tell us your address, so we can put it in the record?
What do you want?
Your address?
520 Jean Street?
Okay, 520 Jean Street. Okay, Joe, we see we've got some pictures.
We got some pictures.
Tell us about the pictures.
Well, that trailer's sitting up there along the side of the house, in between mine and his. I don't think that's right.
Okay.
What you want?
Also, on the south side of his house, there's paint peeling off the side of the house, and it ought to be repainted or something.
Okay. George, the basic rules relative to this.
I haven't seen
Oh,
one.
sorry.
It's okay, take your time.
There you go.
The one picture almost looks like it's over the property line. I mean,
If
could
it
be an
ain't, it's
illusion.
close.
Yeah, it could be an illusion, but that's what it looks like.
Assuming the fence is on the property line where it's supposed to.
That's true.
Yeah.
Looks like it's just sitting on
Very close.
grass.
Yes.
Okay.
My recollection is, well, I'll have to review the codes for an empty trailer like this. I know what it is for campers and things, but it may have to be on an improved surface if it's allowed, where that is. We'll have to look at the codes and
I don't think he can
verify
hear
it.
you, George.
I'm sorry?
I don't think he can hear you.
We'll have to look at the codes and see what, if anything, can be done about it, and we'll follow up on it.
I tried to find out in the code, but I didn't.
That's okay.
I got lost.
Okay. We'll be getting back with you in a day or two. Is that
Okay.
okay, about whether or not we can do something about it?
Do we have a phone number?
I've got Joe Baker, 520 Jean Street,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then
If you want my telephone numbers, 258-3597.
3597?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get
Okay.
back with you in a couple of days then, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, do we have any other topics that we would like to bring up for a discussion point?
On Railroad Street,
Yeah.
where Vern Engelhardt used to live, I went by there tonight, and I tell you, that place hasn't changed a bit. It's a mess.
You mean on Wilson Street?
Wilson, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
It is a mess. There's more vehicles in that driveway than, and along his garage, there's garbage piled up.
Across from,
The
Connor.
Shaw Center.
okay.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous. What a mess.
it does look like it's getting worse, so let's get that one again. I know we've been through it before. Okay. All right, gentlemen, other topics?
How'd the open house go for the Ileana?
It was, I think, I got in on part of it, and I think you got in on part of it.
I
Anybody
believe
else?
A little bit before 6.
Yeah, and I got there a little bit after 6 because I was out of town. And number one, the parking lot was full.
Yeah. I saw the signs.
Yeah, and they held a similar format to what they've used in the past, where they basically have the maps rolled out on display of the whole route, and they've got the photographic ones with the overlay, including the proposed 400-foot wide right-of-way with potential on and off ramps, and also they had symbols on roads that would potentially be closed. And there were several sets of these all around. Plus, they were set up in the area of the commons room where they had photographs, enlarged photographs of each of the interchanges, possible ways of doing each of the interchanges, which they have yet to decide on. And so people came around and engaged in conversation with the folks from the Ileana committee doing research, the engineers and the like, and asked questions, answered questions. There was a presentation in the auditorium that was a PowerPoint that played over and over again, and then they did a question and answer period sometime around 6:15, 6:30, I think they started that. And I was not in there for that. The sense that I got was a lot of the folks who are impacted along the route, and we had people, I think, there from Indiana as well as the whole route. A lot of folks came in and offered their opinions on what they saw as good points or bad points with it, asked questions, and the whole purpose of it is additional input to tweak where exits are and possible obstacles to go around that were not initially seen in the photographs and the surveys. And you had some people who were passionate because their property was impacted. But I have to say what I've said before. All the road projects I have ever seen, this is the most open
Yeah.
to listening to people. Because most of the other ones, when they did public hearings, it's kind of like we have one meeting, walk up to the microphone. And this is, we've got stations all over the place. So literally, hundreds of people can offer a comment and ask questions and get answers. And can do it very personalized in terms of, you can go to the map and find the property you're most concerned with and ask specific questions there.
Have they taken quick take off the table, or is that still on the table?
You know, I honestly don't know where that's at, because it's
I've
been
not heard where
discussed
they've
both
removed
ways.
it, I'll put it that way.
Yeah. And, yeah, the essence of that, from what I understand, has been the same as eminent domain. The difference is is they get access to the property to begin with, and it's the settlement that comes afterwards, the financial settlement that comes afterwards. And you have access to whatever the offer was, and if you have additional money coming, that's, you simply put it in an account and you get it later. So. And we're still in the Tier 2 process, which is finalizing the route, the environmental study, between the no-build and the B3 route, and exactly where the B3 route will be. And they're also, during this time period, looking at the funding of the project and investigating, among other things, the public-private partnerships, which are, there's some initial research that's being done on that right now, because we were at a session where somebody asked questions of, what do you know on that so far? And they said, we're doing our research, and when we get enough information to have some thoughts relative to it, then we're going to have more discussion groups where we bring more people in. But they needed to get some basic research. So this whole thing is looking at sometime in early 2014 as getting a record of decision approved by the, I think it's the feds, right? On exactly where the route will be, and then heading for the next step, which is to go ahead with the engineering and the public-private, if that's the route it's probably going to go, the funding aspect of it. And incidentally, they have been listening to some of the comments that we have made along with some of with the township in terms of adjusting it to miss the township
Yeah.
building. And
I was a moderator for their meeting that night for the township.
yeah,
When the guys came back, they said the same thing. They seemed to have, they at least got heard. That's their opinion, you know.
and you know, they're trying to make adjustments on some of the roads, that as far as which roads they're going to close and which is going to have overpasses and stuff like that. It's still, that's the fine tuning part that I think they need input on. And having had the meetings that they've had with first responders and school districts and the like, they're getting some pretty good input, I think. I think one of the things that we kind of hammered away at the last thing that we were there is, the reality of it is, for the next 20 to 50 years, there's still going to be a lot of agriculture around here. Unless there's some humongous quick, build out of this area, it's still going to be primarily that. And so making the overpasses and the like conducive to agricultural implements going over the top of it is what I'm for. Yes, sir, you walked
Good
in.
evening. Yes, I have a question suggestion.
Get up to the mic. Please do, come up to the microphone, tell us who you are, and give us your address so we know where you live.
My name's Steve Bro, and I live at 337 West Corning. Been here about 20 years now. And my question suggestion has just been something that's bothered me for a while. The building across from the old mill. I'm sure you guys hear things rumbling around about it. I belong to like I don't know what you want to call it, but they send me updates, real estate updates for the area. And supposedly this thing now is in full foreclosure and can be had for $50,000. So
Really?
my question, suggestion is, would the village or the park district entertain purchasing this thing? I'm thinking Historical Society, Chamber of Commerce, storage, events, a place for us to gather when we do have festivals and things like that.
Being across from the mill, it would lend itself to
Yeah, if it was a block away, I
relation.
wouldn't be standing here, but
Yeah.
I just thought it was something it's been bugging me.
Okay.
So here I am.
My first response is, it's worth looking into, for assorted reasons. Trustees, anything you want to say relative to this?
I think right now it's deemed residential, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a residential area.
Whoever takes it on has to make it a residential purpose,
Yes, I've
unless
had,
they get
Yeah, there was a
Zoning
long,
changes.
couple of years, there was a lot of, it was sold a few times, that piece of property.
Yeah, since I've been here, I think it's been through
It-
4
the-
owners.
I had relatives that had that at one time, and they had a 20 or 25-year hiatus on that thing, that they had a business in there.
Mhm.
And it ended when they sold it, you know. Possibly, when the mill issue came up years and years ago, in order to get a grant for the mill, I don't know if that's still available, you have to have a museum.
Yep. It
That'd
still
be
ties in with a
that-
lot of grants.
That would be a perfect building for the mill to be a museum. Right across the street, you'd have parking, you'd have that issue, you know.
Yeah.
That building needs a lot of work, though. A lot of work.
I don't doubt it. It's been vacant for a number of years now.
Yeah, I understand they put in a new washroom, but of course it probably have to be handicap accessible and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I thought the roof was stable, but I don't know. We looked into it ourselves a few years back when we were daydreaming. Thought, oh, this would be a great place to have a house. No. I don't think so. But
Okay.
anyway, that's why I was here, and thank you for the forum.
Thank you. We will look into it.
I thought at that price, God, the lot's worth that.
Yeah, easily.
You know, so it's the realty thing is called Zip Realty, and they're, I just subscribe to just the 60468 because I'm nosy and I like to know what's going on around here, so.
Okay. All righty.
All right,
Thank you, Steve.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anything further, trustees? Any other topics of discussion? It's pretty good for having nothing on the agenda. I would say we have allowed sufficient time for anybody who was interested in presenting to show up at the meeting. And having had several people walk in and do that and leave after they were done, I would say we have fulfilled our obligation, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn the committee of the whole meeting.
Second.
Motion by trustee Forsythe, second by trustee Hupkey to adjourn the April 22, 2013 Village of Peotone Committee of the Whole meeting. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Forsythe?
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. Reichert?
Yes.
Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
Mr. Wick?
Yes.
Meeting officially